especially in the second half. This very good Cleveland Cavaliers defense, but that offense is where you ran into issues. A stretch in that third quarter where you scored just 20 points, and 12 of those 20 points came in a span of 105 seconds to close out the quarter when the Bucks knocked down 4 consecutive threes. But just a cold shooting night outside of that. Damian Lillard started hot, 6 of 10 from the field. He cooled off down the stretch, as well as the Bucks just did not have enough offense in this game, putting up just 100 points. 100 points scored for the team on a night where you had a 73-point individual performance and a 62-point individual performance. Those, by the way, the third and fourth 60-point games this week. Not only this season, but this week we have seen a ton of offense from Monday through the end of this week. But offense not there tonight for the Bucks as they fall by 12 to the Cavs, 112-100. That's the story for the game. I would imagine most of the chatter and most of your thoughts will be on the news that became official late in this one, late in the fourth quarter when we received the word and the press release from the Bucks that Doc Rivers is the new head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks in a move announced by the team again less than 30 minutes ago and made official this evening during the fourth quarter. We will hear from Doc Rivers tomorrow. He will have his introductory press conference tomorrow at 11:30 inside of this building, 30 minutes before Marquette plays, of course, where Doc Rivers played collegiately and where his number hangs in these rafters. If you're watching on YouTube, you may be able to see Doc Rivers' number hanging up there. But we will hear from Doc Rivers tomorrow, and you can stream that on YouTube and on Bucks.com as well for all the Bucks fans out there. But it is now official, and we will finally hear from Glenn Doc Rivers tomorrow about becoming the newest head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks. 855-616-1620, the number to join us tonight on Bucks Talk. Again, we can get into the performance we saw tonight, a performance that left a lot to be desired offensively. It's a small sample size, but we do continue to see some nice strides forward these two games against the Cavaliers. Defensively, the Bucks, all told, did a better job. Transition-wise, the Cavs did get their numbers. They did score in fast break. Bucks offense, and this is something that we've heard for most of the season, did not put the defense in all of that good of a spot in terms of their transition defense, but it was still an area that I did feel we saw a big step forward. And you did, at least for the first half, on the glass as well. We saw that Wednesday night against these two teams, between these two teams. But the second half, that rebounding just became insurmountable with the Cavaliers attacking the offensive glass. So a lot of ways to go from here tonight. But again, as I had mentioned, I would assume the bulk of our conversation will now revolve, around the news that Doc Rivers is officially the head coach of the Bucks. 855-616-1620, the number to join us tonight on Bucks Talk. More on the hiring of Doc Rivers and what it means for the Bucks moving forward after this on Bucks Talk.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Flimsy, feeble, flaccid. That's how you can describe most pre-approval letters these days. Heck, a lot of big banks issue pre-approval letters using soft credit pulls instead of real credit reports. Do you really want to compete in today's still low inventory market with a soft credit pull and a pre-approval that's silent on 2 of the 3 critical elements of a mortgage approval? A rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval from AccuNet not only verifies your credit with a real credit report, we also verify your income and down payment, and then issue a letter with a $2,000 guarantee to back it up. And now, AccuNet is issuing property-specific pre-approvals that often come with this sweet phrase: no appraisal required. That's right, AccuNet may be able to issue your pre-approval at or above the seller's asking price without needing an appraisal. Today's home market is still a metaphorical knife fight. Your bank is offering you, well, a pocket knife. AccuNet is Crocodile Dundee. Now that's a knife, mate. Click on the blue button today at accunet.com.
The Doc is in.
I'm not a real doctor. I'm just Doc Rivers.
Congratulations to Doc Rivers, officially the newest head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks. We are the home of the Bucks, WTMJ.
In this seller's market, even homeowners are trying to sell their own home. But more times than not, it doesn't work out like they'd hoped. And while homes like theirs are selling, and selling fast for over asking prices, their homes aren't. So what's your next best strategy? Well, if you're looking to relieve yourself of the stress of selling your own home and still get top dollar while getting the full service benefits that an experienced realtor can give you, then look no further. I'm Angela Calais with Benefit Realty, where 3.5 to 3.9% commission assures that you pay less for full service. Only 11% of those trying to sell their own homes actually succeed. And of those that do sell their own home, they sell on average for 26% less than agented properties. This often negates the savings they were hoping to get by doing it on their own. So why do it on your own when you have an experienced realtor that will give you full service at only 3.5 to 3.9% commission? Don't let your home sit while others are selling faster and at potentially better than asking prices. Call Benefit Realty for a highly experienced agent, and you'll pay less for full service.
Do you love winning? This February, head to Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee and fall head over heels with the Love It or Leave It $400,000 game show. Thursday nights, you could play the Love It or Leave It game show where you can love your prize or leave it for another. Play with your club card to earn drawing entries. Top prize is $10 grand in cash. It's time for Love It or Leave It. Only at Potawatomi. Learn more at PaceBig.com. Must be 21 years old and a club member to play.
This is Bucks Talk.
$112-100, the final score here inside a Fiserv Forum. The Bucks fall to the Cleveland Cavaliers. We can certainly get into anything you mentioned or you noticed from today, but these last two games and potentially tomorrow, we don't have official word on the timeline for succession here, but I would assume Joe Prunty will be coaching tomorrow once more as the interim coach, and that Doc Rivers would take over Monday when the Bucks hit the road for a 5-game road trip with a lot of challenges on that trip. We don't know that for sure. I don't know that for sure. I'm sure we'll find that out tomorrow at 11:30 when Doc meets with the media, but it is now official that Doc Rivers is the head coach of the Bucks. We have not received any confirmation from the team, but there were reports out there earlier today as well about possible additions to the staff for Doc Rivers, and names that we mentioned earlier in the week. When you looked up and down at some of the assistants that have been on Doc Rivers' staff the last couple of stops and the last few years, one of those is reportedly joining Doc in Milwaukee, and that is Dave Yeager. You may remember the name as the one-time head coach of the Memphis Grizzlies and the Sacramento Kings as well. Dave Yeager was with Doc Rivers on his staff in Philadelphia, so right there off the bat, assuming again that these reports are accurate, you'd be adding some more experience to that bench. And I think you've seen what you have in Joe Prunty. We know what he is capable of doing. This is now the third stop for Joe Prunty as an interim head coach. But Joe Prunty, certainly an experienced coach that we assume is staying on the staff here with Doc Rivers in Milwaukee. But Rex Kalaman is also reportedly coming to Milwaukee, who ran the defense for Doc Rivers when he was in Los Angeles coaching the Clippers, and was currently working as a scout for the Brooklyn Nets. So those are two names that are reportedly, this latest report according to Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN, two names that you are reportedly adding to your staff. So it's not just a matter of bringing in a new head coach. It's adding to that staff as well. And I think the big challenge here is what we talked about at the end of the game. The biggest challenge, most immediate pressing challenge that will be meeting Doc Rivers tomorrow is how do you continue to improve this defense? It has been better in these last two games, but I do think it's not anything you want to form any type of opinion off of over two games. It's a small sample, and not just in basketball. In any sport, we see this a lot. In the professional sports world, when there is a coaching change, you see an immediate step forward. You see that immediate change, it doesn't always last. It's not always sustainable. So in the immediacy after moves like that, it's tough to really take anything as Bible moving forward. But for Doc Rivers, that's the challenge, is how do we continue to increase this defense? And as we've continued to point to throughout the season, the number one goal and objective for this defensive unit from day one should be, and will continue to be for the remainder of the season. Can we get up into that 12 to 15 range in terms of our defensive efficiency? Can we be around league average, just slightly better than league average? And I think the important thing to note here, too, is it may not be possible to get into that range if you look at the season numbers as a whole. But the objective does have to be, from this point forward, just as we pointed to, hey, since November 3rd, here's what the Bucs defense was doing. Just as we were pointing to that earlier in the season, that's what the objective should be here. From this point forward, from the moment Doc Rivers took over, here's what the defense looked like. And if you can hover around that league average range, you should be in a pretty good spot. The other part of it, and we've heard Doc Rivers talk about this in various interviews he's done on other media outlets, is how do we continue to maximize the offense, and specifically that two-man game with Giannis and with Damian Lillard. What does Doc Rivers envision for this offense? What does he envision for the role of Giannis? How does he envision really taking Damian Lillard to the next level here? So that's another thing to keep an eye on. And I think really some of the smaller aspects, too, when we talk about the offense. We mentioned this at the end of the broadcast tonight. This was a game, and you heard some of the comments, if you were listening on the network, of Joe Prunty after this game. This was a game that was officiated a little more loosely, that there weren't quite as many calls. And I do say that in a game where the Cavaliers got to the free throw line quite a bit tonight. So did the Bucs, for that matter, in the fourth quarter. But 31 free throw attempts for the Cavs. They weren't a team that was getting there a ton, and they were putting their opponent at the line a decent amount. 55 combined free throw attempts in this game, but 31 came for the Cavaliers. And it really did seem like, especially in that third quarter and early in the fourth, that was part of the issue with this Bucs offense, is when you're not getting the call. You heard Joe Prunty mention some of those offensive possessions where it's not to say one pass or no passes always makes for bad offense. And as a matter of fact, I think you've seen more and more coaches and basketball analytical people point to, look, quick shots aren't always bad. Sometimes quick shots are good if they are good quality quick shots, because quick shots maximize the amount of possessions you can have in a game. But as Joe Prunty put it, not all of those looks that they took quick shots on were good shots. And even when you get late into the shot clock, we talk about ball movement. As he said, a lot of our late shots, it wasn't because we were moving the ball from side to side and working for a good look. There's too much dribbling, too much pounding the basketball and allowing the Cavaliers' defense to get set. So that's the other big thing, is how do you avoid this offense falling into some of those pitfalls, and how do you pull this team forward in games like this where maybe it isn't officiated as you would have liked. 855-616-1620, the number to join us tonight on Bucs Talk. A lot to discuss tonight. Again, you split these two games with the Cavaliers, but the biggest news is the official announcement of the hiring of Doc Rivers. And, oh, by the way, as we learned last night, Giannis and Damian Lillard are both starting in the All-Star game. The first time in nearly 50 years the Bucs have had a pair of starters in the All-Star game. 855-616-1620, the number to join us tonight on Bucs Talk. We'll get to more after this.
This is Brad Youngbluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. The Energy Star ratings for windows are getting a lot tougher to get the tax credits, so you're going to want to take advantage of. Fortunately, we still have options that will qualify you for those tax credits. Now, I can sit here and talk benefits of this product or what's great about that product. So can everybody else. But what a lot of operations can't do is, with complete confidence, stand behind the crew that's going to be on that next job. Talk is cheap, I get it, but our people are exceptional. How do I know? Because me and Vito handpick every single person that makes our team. Some make the cut, A lot don't. And that's why you can be confident that the windows we install for you will be top quality, installed right, and that you're going to get great service. And that's never failed us. So for your home's new windows, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
Your nose is for breathing. Your mouth is for eating. And if you're breathing through your mouth, it's not because your body wants to. It's because it has to, because your nose isn't working properly. And although you've lived like this, it's no way to live, and it's having a significant impact on your life. I know you know this, and I know that taking action isn't always convenient. But at Advent, we've done all we can to make changing your life for the better as easy as possible. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula. With tens of thousands of our patients, a thorough breathing triangle evaluation, along with a simple 20-minute in-office procedure called balloon sinuplasty, has opened their nasal passages, allowing them to breathe freely through their nose for good. And there's a good chance this procedure can do the same for you. We'll help you breathe through your nose again, and it will change your life.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
This is Matt Meitner, owner of Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Do you find yourself talking to your dog but feel like she's not listening to you?
Bella, sit!
Are you constantly repeating yourself but she's not following your directions?
Sit! Sit!
Frustrating, isn't it? At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we want to help you have a happy, confident, and obedient dog, and we also want to make the training process an enjoyable and worthwhile experience. Contact Sit Means Sit today to schedule a free consultation so we can create a customized training program so you are able to have the dog you want and deserve.
Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Sorry, we don't train husbands, wives, or kids.
This is Bucks Talk.
112-100, our final score here inside of Fiserv Forum. The Cavaliers beat the Bucks, so they will finish the season with a 2-2 record. Had a chance to win the season series and to add a little more separation between yourself and Cleveland, but now just 2 games in the loss column separating these two teams. Celtics and Sixers were both idle today, so you only lose a half game to the Celtics, and the Sixers gain a half game of ground on you as well. But, again, the biggest news here is what we had seen made official late in the fourth quarter tonight. The Bucks making it official, the hiring of Doc Rivers as the newest head coach for this Bucks team. No word yet on when he will officially take over, if Joe Prunty will be the interim coach again tomorrow or moving forward, and when Doc will take over on the sidelines. But it is now official. Doc Rivers is the newest head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks. Unofficially, as we mentioned, some of the reports out there from Adrian Wojnarowski and a few others that Doc Rivers also reportedly adding to the staff here in Milwaukee. And those are some very experienced names, according to these reports that started to surface earlier today and still have not been confirmed by the team, so we should state that. But those names that Doc is reportedly adding to his staff here, Rex Kalamian, who is currently or was recently working as a scout for the Brooklyn Nets earlier this season, and was essentially Doc Rivers' defensive coordinator those years that he spent as the head coach in Los Angeles with the Clippers, and Dave Yeager, who was a head coach with the Memphis Grizzlies, also a head coach of the Sacramento Kings, and was on Doc's staff with the Philadelphia 76ers, where he last was. According to Adrian Wojnarowski, those 2 names also coming to Milwaukee to join Doc Rivers, and this coming just a moment ago from Adrian Wojnarowski. And again, I would assume we'll get some official confirmation from the team tomorrow when we do hear from Doc Rivers. 11:30 tomorrow morning, Doc Rivers will address the media, and for Bucks fans, you can view that on YouTube, on the Bucks YouTube channel, and on Bucks.com. But that's when we'll get our first look at Doc Rivers here in Milwaukee and hear from him. But Adrian Wojnarowski moments ago saying that Doc Rivers is expected to make his coaching debut for the Bucks Monday when they begin that 5-game road trip in Denver against the Nuggets. So it is official. The Doc Rivers news. The cat is out of the bag, and the team has made it official now. And there is one other interesting piece to all of this. As we mentioned, All-Star. Giannis and Damian Lillard, both All-Star starters. And the last time the Bucks had a pair of starters in the All-Star game was 1976. Brian Winters and Bobby Dandridge. That was the last time there were two Milwaukee Bucks starting in an All-Star game. Not making an All-Star team, but starting in an All-Star game. And the other interesting part is this. With those new rules that were put in place a couple of years ago, you cannot coach the All-Star game in consecutive seasons because, remember, it always goes to the team that has the best record, not at the All-Star break, but it's usually about a week before the All-Star break. Joe Mazzulla was the head coach last year because the Celtics had the best record at that time of the cutoff. As of this moment right now, the Bucks have the second best record in the Eastern Conference. Now, it is going to be nip and tuck with the 76ers for the next week. I believe it runs through next Monday. The cutoff is somewhere around there for the record for who is going to coach the All-Star game. But there is a very, very real possibility that Glenn Rivers is taking over. Glenn Doc Rivers is taking over the Bucks here, again, according to Adrian Wojnarowski, on January 29th to coach the Denver Nuggets. And that in the span of 2 or 3 weeks, not only will he take over as the head coach of the Bucks, there's a very real possibility he will also be the head coach of the Eastern Conference in the All-Star game. 855-616-1620, the number to join us tonight on Bucks Talk. A Bucks Talk here where there's not really a whole lot to get to in terms of what we saw on the floor. I don't want to diminish what we saw in the game itself or take away from what the Cavs did or the good things the Bucks did. But in many ways, this almost had the feel, these last two games, for that matter, almost had the feel of a preseason game where you're just waiting for things to pick up. And in this case, not the regular season as much as it's, all right, now let's see how things look differently here and what the new tweaks and adjustments will be with a head coach, one Doc Rivers. 855-616-1620, the number to join us. More after this on Bucks Talk.
Better days start with a better night's sleep on a mattress from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in Milwaukee, our mattresses are custom built to your needs. We have all the comfort and firmness options to give you your best night's rest. Buying direct from our factory showrooms will save you up to 50% compared to national brands. Shop today during our New Year's sale at Ken Michaels Furniture for over 75 years of uncompromising quality, local factory direct saving, and your best night's sleep. Start the new year right with Norwalk Furniture on sale now at Ken Michaels Furniture. Save 35% on showroom pieces that are ready for immediate delivery, or in just 35 days you can create a look that reflects your unique style with over 850 fabric and leather options and comfort levels, from cuddling to extra firm support. Norwalk Furniture's American roots go back over 102 years. For better quality American-made upholstery, shop the Norwalk Upholstery Sale at any Ken Michaels Furniture locations in Greenfield, Brookfield, or downtown.
Earn now, spend later during Blaine's Farm and Fleet's Rewards Members Dollar Days. Now through the end of January, Rewards members earn $10 in Blaine's Bucks for every $100 spent in store to redeem just like cash, February 8th through the 21st. Start earning today with 40-pound bags of Easy Heat wood fuel pellets, $4.99. Rewards members pay just $4.79. Plus, get up to 70% off assorted holiday decor, candles, and other clearance items. Earn Blaine's Bucks now to spend later during Blaine's Farm and Fleet's Rewards Members Dollar Days.
Sun, 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 fun, fun, fun. Sun, 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 every kind of boat under the sun.
That boat show music is back, and so is Wisconsin's largest boat show. Everything from family runabouts, ski and surf boats, fishing boats, luxury pontoons, and more Great Lakes cruisers and motor yachts. We have the boats. Shop for skis, boards, and tubes at the Tubers Truckload Sale. Check MilwaukeeBoatShow.com. January 19 through 28, State Fair Park.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guest, Sidex. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. And at 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact NX Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at nxwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ. This is Bucks Talk.
It was an eventful night in the NBA tonight, and it's been an eventful week for that matter. It started on January 22nd when we saw Joel Embiid score 70 points in a win for the 76ers. Later on that night, Karl Anthony Towns scored 62 points, a rare 62-point performance in a loss where you were benched down the stretch of the fourth quarter. And then tonight, Luka Doncic scores 73 points and 62 points from Devin Booker. So we've had 4 games this week with players scoring 62 or more points, and 2 days with 2 players scoring 60 or more points on the same day. The 73 from Luka Doncic tonight were the most points scored in a game since Kobe Bryant scored 81 in that win over the Raptors January 26th, the same date as this previous Monday here, January 26th, 2006. Kobe's points are the second most scored in an NBA game in league history. Of course, Wilt Chamberlain's 100 is the record. Then you have Kobe with 81. Then you had Wilt Chamberlain once more with 78 points. And now you have Luka Doncic with 73 points. One of 4 instances of 73 points scored in a game. Wilt Chamberlain has 2 of them. David Thompson with the other. Damian Lillard scored 71 last year. And Elgin Baylor with a 71-point game. David Robinson in 1994 scored 71 on the final game of the regular season to cement the NBA scoring title. Wilt Chamberlain also had a 72-point game. And then you have Joel Embiid 70 earlier this week. So we have seen a ton of scoring in the NBA this week alone, and that continued tonight. You had that news, and then again, late in the fourth quarter, the official word that the Bucks have hired Doc Rivers as the head coach for the Bucks. So as I had mentioned, if you want to view that press conference, you can. The Bucks will be streaming it on their YouTube page and on Bucks.com tomorrow. Doc Rivers will speak to the media at 11:30 in a big day if you're a Marquette alum and a Milwaukeean, because you'll have Doc Rivers here speaking to the media, addressing Milwaukee media and making his first remarks as the head coach of the Bucks. 30 minutes later, just down the hall from where Doc Rivers is going to be speaking, you have the Marquette Golden Eagles playing in a game. And then a couple of hours after that, you have the Bucks playing the New Orleans Pelicans. Reportedly, Joe Prunty will be coaching that game once more. And according to Adrian Wojnarowski, Monday night when the Bucks depart, or I should say begin, a 5-game road trip, Monday night is when the reports are that Doc Rivers will coach his first game as the head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks. The other thing to note is, as we mentioned just a few moments ago, according to Adrian Wojnarowski, there are 2 names that are going to be joining Doc Rivers here in Milwaukee on his staff. Rex Kalamian, who was working as a scout for the Brooklyn Nets and was basically his defensive coordinator when he was in Los Angeles coaching for the Clippers. And Dave Yeager, a name that most Bucks fans and most NBA fans are familiar with, the former head coach of the Sacramento Kings and the Memphis Grizzlies. Those 2 names reportedly coming to Milwaukee along with Doc Rivers to work on his staff. 855-616-1620, the number to join us when we return. We'll take one more break here. When we return, we'll preview that matchup with the New Orleans Pelicans and see if any more news will break this evening in regards to the Bucks head coach and everything that surrounds it. We'll get into it after this on Bucks Talk.
Heart disease won't stop us. Diabetes, allergies, cancer. Nothing will keep the Froedtert and the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network from pushing Wisconsin ahead. We're constantly raising the bar for medical excellence and providing more ways to receive it, so you have it for all your health needs, big and small. Let's push ahead, and we'll make life here as great as it can be. Visit Freighter.com to find out how.
Matt had just moved into his first apartment and needed furniture to fill it, but he didn't have a big credit line. So I told him about St. Vincent de Paul. There's always a nice selection of gently used furniture there, and sometimes you can find some really cool retro pieces. And the best part is, it's always super affordable. St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores for first-time furniture buyers or anyone looking for great deals on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield and 23rd and Lincoln in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Is it time to give your home a new look?
Absolutely.
Get personal care from Adair. Adair Floors and Remodeling has a design team ready to help with all flooring and remodeling needs, including tub to shower conversions. Want to create your dream kitchen, including cabinets? How about the rec room? Adair Floors and Remodeling has been family run in Franklin for over 65 years. For floors and all home remodeling needs, get personal care from Adair. Adair Floors and Remodeling, South 27th Street in Franklin, and online at adairfloors.com.
Ring in the new year with the ultimate timeless gift, a diamond from Diamonds Direct. Whether you're ready to pop the question or celebrating a lifetime of love in 2024, Diamonds Direct can make this New Year's one to remember forever. Diamonds Direct is the area's destination for exquisite diamonds in all shapes and sizes, and our nationwide price guarantee ensures you'll get the best value, period. To showcase that spectacular diamond, we have literally thousands of designer settings from all the top names like Tacori, Verragio, Simon G, A. Jaffe, and many more. And our experts will guide you every step of the way with the education you want and the respect you deserve. Engagement rings, wedding bands, eternity bands, fashion rings. At Diamonds Direct, we specialize in the ultimate symbol of love, and we welcome the opportunity to celebrate with you. So start the new year with some new excitement, new hope, and some new bling. Diamonds Direct on Mayfair Road in front of Mayfair Mall. Proud to call Milwaukee home. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
This is Bucks Talk.
Bucks lose to the Cavaliers tonight, 112-100. But again, the big story from this was the news we received late in the fourth quarter that the Bucks officially announced the signing of Doc Rivers as a hiring. One more time, because there is going to be a lot of interest in Doc Rivers when you think about the total package here, his dynamic personality. The fact that he is a very, very well-known and visible NBA figure. And, oh, by the way, he played collegiately at Marquette. He has his number hanging in this building, in the rafters at Fiserv Forum. And now he returns to Milwaukee to coach the Bucks. He's going to meet with the media tomorrow before the Marquette game. Marquette will play, and then the Bucks play that night. And I'm sure Doc Rivers will be attending the Marquette game for all of the tie-ins here. But there's going to be a lot of interest in this entire story and the appeal and the charm that Doc Rivers brings. And you can view that press conference on the Bucks YouTube page and on Bucks.com starting at 11:30 tomorrow. So just in time to wake up, run whatever errands, take care of the chores, stream that Doc Rivers press conference, then you can take in the Marquette game, and then you have the Bucks game later that night. But I'm sure the questions over the appeal of this job, what he views, how he thinks he can take this team to the next level, his expectations, questions over the defense, how do you adjust that, how do you improve that, how do you continue to build on that Giannis and Damian Lillard two-man game? Those are all questions that we'll start to get some answers to tomorrow. And these still count in the standings. That's the difference here between this and the preseason. But this has been a weird tone and a weird feel to the game tonight, the game on Wednesday, and I'm sure there's going to be some of that tomorrow as well with the Pelicans coming to town where you know things are about to begin, if you will. In the preseason, it's the regular season is going to begin. In this case, the new coach a new staff, a new system, all of that is going to begin reportedly on Monday when the Bucks head to Denver to take on the Nuggets. But it is now official. Doc Rivers is the head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks, and we will hear from the newest head coach tomorrow before that game at 11:30. And again, you can view that on the Bucks YouTube page and on Bucks.com. We'll be back once again tomorrow night with Bucks Talk following that game against the Pelicans. 7 o'clock tip, 6:30 is when our pregame begins. And as always, be sure to stick around afterwards for Bucks Talk. We'll talk to you then.
You're going to get a free furnace from Quality Heating. This isn't a gimmick. You are going to get a free furnace. This is Anthony Zanevsky, and all you have to do is purchase a